Um, so today's topic is what is the current story with Microsoft Teams templates. My name is Matti Paukkonen. I'm coming from Finland. I work as a cloud advisor on Tahto Group, which is a kind of a small company which is focusing on small and medium-sized enterprises and non-profit enterprises as well. I'm also Microsoft MVP. I got awarded on August last year, so been there for like half a year. Also a tech speaker. I've been speaking a lot of online conferences actually later on, as we know the current situation in the world. And I'm also organizing Teams Community Finland, which is a local Teams community with a couple of my MVP friends. So we are having that one. I've been working over 10 years with Microsoft Modern Works, so with SharePoint, of course, Teams, Microsoft 365, also focusing now heavily on security because it's really important thing nowadays when we are seeing the current news with hacking and even in Finland we have a couple of big cases going on when some social organizations have been hacked. And on the right side you can see my social media, and I also have a blog which contains technical things around Microsoft 365. And if you need to contact me, please do. You can send me email, of course, but the most quickest way is to access through my social media channels. So what I'm covering today, let's first go through what are the team templates in Microsoft Teams. So throughout the demos, we are seeing that how you create a team from template, how you manage the templates, what are the template policies. Then I'm also demonstrating a little bit about template management with PowerShell. That's fairly new thing. I think it was released, last week, or was it even this week? So template management capabilities are now available on Teams PowerShell as well. Then I have a couple of slides about templating options. So if you want to do things differently or having some kind of a simplified way. And the last part is Microsoft Graph, of course, and how you can extend your templates in Microsoft Graph. So this will be kind of a demo heavy session, and I will try to explain during the demos what is happening. Couple of ideas why you should use team templates. So of course, first thing is the kind of a consistent and familiar structure and settings to your users. So when you have, for example, project team, everyone knows where are the memos, where are the planning, where are the documents, where you can host, where you are hosting the meetings, and of course, where is the virtual coffee channel. Of course, they right away know that what are the guest settings set up automatically and those kind of things. So people, when they are changing teams, they know where to find the information. Of course, next thing is the better information architecture. When we are now using Teams, SharePoint metadata almost starts to go meaningless. There are fewer users of that metadata. So having consistent channel structure, people just know where to find the information and where they actually should add those documents, Excels, PowerPoints, whatever they are working on. Also context to the conversation, so people know, users know that this is a channel for kind of a free-form conversation. This is more focusing, for example, on steering group conversation. This channel is probably just for bringing up different kind of announcements or news, and there is no conversation at all. And for example, this channel is for meetings. And of course, encouraging usage of apps. So using those OneNotes for memos, using Planner for tasks, or different apps which organization is actually using in Teams to work better. So those kind of ideas. Okay. But let's dive into the first demo. So here I'm covering how you're creating team from template, what it means, how it actually happens, how you can manage those templates, what are the options there, and the last part, that how you can manage and hide those templates for users using team template policies. So let's dive into my demo environment. Okay, so now I'm on Teams. Sorry, I will close that one. And I'm starting to create a new team. And just create a new team. And as you may already know that team templates have been there for a while, so this is not a new thing. So probably I'm just creating an Adobe Office 365 template, which is Microsoft provided template here. And when you are creating it from the template, you see what channels are available and what apps are actually added to the as when you are provisioning new team from this template. And I will create a public. It doesn't matter at this point. Adapt O3 and just create. And now it starts creating the team. And as you may notice here, the team is created fairly quickly in just maybe 5 seconds. But everything else, those channels, those apps are actually provisioned in a long-running operation. So those won't be available as soon. So you need to probably wait something like 5 to 10 minutes to get everything there. So I will close this window and leave it running at the moment. So, and we are not waiting here. We are going forward. Let's check the results later. Next thing is how you can manage the team templates. So team template management can be done in Teams Admin Center. So logging into Teams Admin Center and opening the teams, and there is team templates. And now you can see that Microsoft is already providing these templates. You can identify that the published by information is Microsoft. So these will be available on all of the tenants when the Teams templates are actually rolled out. So you have these templates here. You can see what is there if we check, for example, that Adobe 365 and go here. So you see that there is general channel announcements, champions, corner, teams, forms, calendar. And on calendar channel, there have been shared calendar added as a tab. And if you check the app section, also wiki is added because wiki is anyway included in the templates. But as you can see, everything is grayed out, so you cannot edit these, either delete anything from these templates. As well, if you go to the template management, you cannot actually delete the out-of-the-box template. So those will be there always, they will be available. How about creating a new template? How that is done? So let me click Add. And there is already 3 different choices. So you can create the template from scratch, just start adding channels and apps, and we will do that later. You can use an existing template to start with. So you click Next, pick, for example, that Adobe Office 365, click Next, add a name, descriptions, locale, and you can then start editing, deleting, and modifying this template for your own needs. But let's not go further to that. I would say this is actually a fairly good idea to use an existing team as a template. If you have a good structure on one of your teams in your environment, so there is good channel structure, good apps, it's fairly used, it's even reproduced basically manually. So you can kind of promote that structure as a template. So let's see how that's done. So I will click Next, and it will give me a list of teams. I will find the M365 Saturday, which I created earlier on. Pick that one, click Next, and just quickly copy paste something, and Next. And as you can see now, I can start already editing the temp channels and apps, and I have these teams already created here. So I have this channel structure. I have even added some website tabs, but everything is not covered like in a tab level, which is included in your team to the template. So you probably need to add those as well. For example, adding editing the materials channel and adding there a website tab. Oh, it was like this. Apply. I'm not doing anything more to this one. I just click submit. So now it's to the submission, and as you can see, it's already available on the management side. It will take some time to actually provision it to the end users. But let's create a template from scratch. So I will just name this as a project template. And just copy paste this. Descriptions are good, but for the demo's sake, I'm not going to spend time on those. And I think my project template needs a planning channel. And I will put the shown by default. Actually, this feature is not working currently, but it will work in later on. And I will add a OneNote. So I definitely need a OneNote for that specific channel, and I need a planner for that specific channel. Add those. Of course, I need a memos channel. And I need OneNote for that one as well. And let's add a meeting channel to encourage users to use those channel meetings as well. And a channel calendar there, yeah. So I think I'm done. I would like to add an app there. So I will just add Poly. So it will be automatically installed to that team, so people can start using it right away. It's not part of any channel, but it will be available on the team. And just click submit. Okay. And let's see what happens. Now our Adapt O365 team is kind of ready. So you remember there were these channels. And let's see, is it actually, like you see here, shown by default is not working currently. But in the calendar channel, now you can see that there is a shared calendar. But with the templates, when you're setting up these tabs, they are just kind of introduced to the channel, and you need to really set that up. So it will be just an, how would I say it? It will be just an instance of that tab, but you need to do the configuration differently. So I will just click add here, and now the challenge calendar is actually working. So on every tab which is coming through that template, you need to do this. For example, adding a new planner plan, linking it to OneNote, linking it to website tab. So it's just an instance that you see that there is a tab, and I need to do something to make it work. Let's see if our project template is now available. So I will just click create a new team, and project template is here. So I will just click that one. I see my channels here. I see my apps here. Let's make it a public. Let's make it as a project X. And I'm actually using that team for my next demo to change some things. And actually, when the team is ready, there will be a small toast notification in the bottom right corner, but it's fairly small, so you don't get any other notification around that. Okay, let's just open the Create Team view again. And as you can see, by default, all users are seeing these Microsoft provided templates, which cannot be deleted. But you can use team template policies to hide those templates. So how the team template policies work, I have here a couple of policies created. So, and I'm not going to deep dive on how the policies actually work in Teams, but just to give you an idea. So, for example, global policy, which is by default for everyone, you can select here which templates are actually available and which are hidden. So you can hide all the Microsoft provided templates with template policies if you like to. And if you want to make it more complicated, you can create more templates policies. For example, I have created project workers policy here, which is just having these two templates available. So these new templates are actually automatically included in all of your team templates policies. So purpose of this one would be that I would have people who are just working with projects, and they would only have these two templates available, and rest of the people would have different templates available. So you can mix and match doing things with this. quickly check. And as we can see, the project X is not provisioned yet. So let's go back to the slides for a little while, and let's get back to these when we are having more demos. So just some information. So current out-of-the-box team template supports channels, tabs, and apps. As you can see, modifying team settings is not available. So you cannot edit the team guest settings or fun settings or member settings. Those are not available on Teams Admin Center. There's also some limitations. So there can be 15 channels per template, 20 tabs per channel in that template, and you can have 50 different apps in your template. So I would say those are enough, because if you have a template more than 15 channels, I think it will be a mess. And remember, on template policies, you can hide up to 100 templates. So if you have more than 100 templates, you probably need to have more policies to make it work correctly. Okay, we can jump back to the demos, but let's see how the template management works with PowerShell. So I will just open my, and please, hey, do tell me, can you see this clearly enough, or should I increase the font size? Okay. So first thing, I will just connect to Microsoft Teams. I have my module already installed, so I don't need to focus on that. Come on, no demo effects, please. Typing in my password hidden here. Okay, and this is now, oh, it was fast. Oh, cool. So, and if I just, for your information, module which was actually released this week is now 2.00. So this is the latest GA released module, which includes also the tools for managing those templates, and also improved other things as well. So first I want to list all the templates which I have there. It happens to get CST team template list. And this will retrieve all the templates I have available. It will also display the channel count and the app count. It didn't fit on my screen because I have increased the font size. So this is the team ID, which includes kind of the identifier, which is available if we see the Teams Admin Center and go here and project template. This is the team template ID, actual template ID, but on PowerShell it includes another thing. So it includes the template ID. Then there is a scope, which is for this template is set as tenant, because this is a custom template. So everything scoped as tenant is a customized template. And if we see, for example, Microsoft template here, this is the ID, and scope is set as public. So all these public templates are then provided by Microsoft automatically. And then there's a local if you want to localize your templates. So basically this is not yet, that doesn't have a meaning, but it probably be in the future that you can localize template based on user language or something like that. Let's see what the actual template looks like. So I'm just getting the template, CS team, and pasting in the OData ID. And as you can see, the template is actually just the JSON. I will open this one. This is better color coding and everything. So if you are familiar with Microsoft Graph and how team templates work there is some familiarity, like channels, how you're adding them, how you're adding tabs, but it's still then kind of its own schema. So it's not one-to-one in that Microsoft Graphs team create team schema. So, and you see here there are member settings, guest settings, messaging settings, fun settings, and those apps you have there, and then just a couple of things to cover the icon of the theme template, the short description, and published by. So this is actually template I'm going to show you next, how you can create a new template with PowerShell. So new CS theme template, and I want to just say it English and set my body there. So I will just get this. I have a file already saved which have that specific JSON there, and I will just out it as a string. And now it's actually created a new template. So it was named in here like a community template, and template for community was the description. And right away I can check, is it available on Teams Admin Center? I just need to refresh and just go to Team Templates. And as you can see, community template is now available. And if I check what I added there, there was 4 channels and 5 apps. So it's fairly simple. One option, you can use also the complex object mechanism to create a new template, but then you need to predefine everything. So I would say that probably getting a good template as a draft and then just editing the JSON would be a better way, and saving as a file if you need to do that. What about if I go back here, a couple of commands, I'm getting that project template, and we really want to see change these guest settings. So let's focus on fun settings, because fun is always better. So I want to get that, change that or update that theme template. So first I'm actually getting it as a variable. So I'm getting an object out of that theme template. And as you can see here, I can just see what are the fun settings. And I really like to have custom memes and GIFs. And then just also stickers. So now they are added to my template object. So if I just print it out, I can see that fun settings are here. And now I can use it to update my theme template. So update. CS theme template. I need to have that OData ID. I need to copy it from somewhere. So I need that one. And then I just add my template object as a body. So now it's there. And if I now retrieve it, it will have the fun settings. But we can see the kind of changes here. So if I go back, I updated the project template. If I manage this theme and see the settings, you see, weird. That's it's a demo effect. Okay. I don't know why this actually, because those were disabled when I got the template. Okay, no worries. So, but basically the idea is that you can easily update these properties of the template, like member settings, guest settings, messaging settings, fun settings, with PowerShell, and those are not available on Teams Admin Center, at least yet. So if you want to change these, you need to use PowerShell for it. Okay, that was my demo about PowerShelling. Let's jump back. And of course, remove is just remove -cs theme template and give the OData ID, you can remove the template. Okay, hey, I missed one thing. I need to remind you something. So let's take another look. Oh, sorry. If you are using Microsoft template and getting that kind of a template object out, you need to remove the categories. So if I just show it quickly what needs to be done. So auditor ID, there is the categories property. So if you are storing this to a file or using this as an object to your new team template, you need to remove these categories or set it as null on your team code, because this feature is not yet available on tenant scoped templates. So just to remind you, but if it will give a weird error, and you can figure it out from there as well. So now back to the slides. So just to cover a couple of points on template management with PowerShell. So you can access those template settings which I mentioned. It's very good for mass updates if you, for example, want to mass update your template guest settings or fun settings accordingly. And if you need to provision your predefined templates to your environment or your customer's environment. So you have set those up, for example, regarding on one of your solutions, you can do that. Then let's talk about a little while for options for templating. So if you want to simplify things and you need to create a process, for example, that I need to create a team when form or list item is added or Power Apps button is clicked or something, you can do it with Power Automate. It's fairly simple. There's not so much options, but if you just need a team, if you just need few channels and control members and owners, this is totally fine. No need for premium license, and you can extend it, of course, with Power Automate, like sending a welcome messages or mentioning users or uploading documents or whatever is available on your Power Automate. So if you need to set up fairly simple kind of a custom provisioning, it's possible with Power Automate. There is certain limitations, but very simple cases, this actually works quite well. Then if you want to go full-blown Teams templating, of course, Power Automate and Graph API. So you can actually use team templates and create those teams based on your own templates, not based on templates managed on Teams Admin Center. So you can have totally customized template with all the settings, different things, and just shoot a one call to create a team. This also supports Azure AD authentication, so you can use app-only authentication to create it. You don't need to have a user to actually create a team. Bad thing is that, of course, this requires a premium license, so you need to really consider this case. And maybe if you are just using that specific thing, you probably want to use Azure Logic Apps to achieve this. One thing, of course, Power Automate, you can trigger it as before, like on forms and lists and Power Apps, and even do HTTP calls from another systems if you want to, for example, extend SharePoint site designs or something like that. This is fairly good thing for team templating if the Power Platform is actually chosen as an app platform. It's a strategical choice for your organization, and you have the licenses. I think this is fairly simple because you can build quite extensive provisioning mechanisms with the HTTP action calls. Shortly going through options here. So PnP provisioning templates. If you are familiar provisioning SharePoint artifacts with PnP, for example, when you create a new site, you provision something with PnP provisioning template. You can also extend it with provisioning a team at the same time, and it supports channels, tabs, apps, all the settings, team settings. So it's kind of a following the same support than Graph API. And inside of that provisioning template, you can use that JSON from Graph or use PnP XML schema as well. So if you're familiar with that one. And this is extremely useful if you need to provision complex solutions to your demo tenants. So you can replicate same things, maybe emptying your demo tenant and creating all over again. So this is extremely useful for those cases. And finally, Graph API. This is, of course, the most advanced way to provision teams. And there is on the right side, you can see the team template and how the templating is working on Graph. So you can create those channels and change settings and add apps and different things. And just creating a team with one action. So but I'm not covering this so much. I have a short demo about Graph API as well in the coming. And when you are using Graph API, you should really focus on reading the documentation because it's really specific how you format the messages. And if you are, for example, have been using the beta endpoint of Graph API, you should really check that is there any changes if you want to move the kind of the production version 1.0 API. So I have been noticing a couple of glitches there. So there should be at least and tested properly. Permission side focus on the release privilege because mostly when Graph API is used, solutions are using the app-only authentication. And now there are introduced more granular permissions on Graph API, so you don't need to have read-write permissions to all of your groups just to create a team. So there will be a create team permission as well and create channel permission. And Graph Explorer, I will actually use it in my next demos. It's very, very good tool to test out different things and learn and try out that is it working. I think it's always included when I'm doing Graph API things. But next demo, let's jump onto templating and Graph API. So I'm just going here. And now I want to create, of course, team creation with Graph API. I will just take some code for my demo. So this is the most simple case what I can use here. So when we are creating teams, we are of course calling the Teams API. And if we are creating teams, of course, we set the post. And this is the easiest case here. So it will create a team with a display name and a description. How about I would like to use those templates, which I already manage on Teams Admin Center on my Graph API calls? Is that possible? And I would say it is because let's create that adoption 365 team first. So I will pick that from the Teams Admin Center, get the template ID here. And on the Graph Explorer, I have this standard, so I can actually replace that with my template ID from Teams Admin Center. And let's just run this query. And it was success. And I can see that adoption demo appeared here. So if you're creating the team with the standard ID, you actually get this result. Let's get back to this a little bit later because you remember provisioning of that team template takes time. What if I want to use my own template for it? So let's take my second demo. I will like to use the project template to create my sites or my team. So I will just paste in this. So there will be just a different name for the clarity purposes. I pick up team templates. I take the project template, copy this template ID. You see, this is not the OData ID. This is the actual template ID. So OData ID is not working here. It's just working in the Powershell side. And I just click run. And it was also done. So it will start provisioning that one there. So now we have the adoption demo going. We have the project demo going. Let's do a third demo about this one. How about I want to extend that? So as you can see, my project template now have general, planning, memos, and meetings channels. What if I want to do that? I want to add there a virtual coffee channel, which is fairly important nowadays, that you have some kind of a get-together place in your teams. And I want to change the member settings, and I want to allow guests to create and update channels, which is not available on that template. So I can actually use Graph API to provision my team and add and change these settings. So I will make a Graph API call, which will extend my project team template with virtual coffee channel, and it will also change some settings during creation. So I will just post it here. Hopefully we have actually time to see the results, because it might take that 5 to 10 minutes. So probably we can check them at the end. And this is a M3 Saturday demo with coffee. So let's go here. And you saw I already added the emoji there. So emojis are also supported, which is cool. Okay, let's go back. Those are now in the provisioning queue, and hopefully we are not getting any kind of a demo effects here. But just to mention, for example, this view, you remember I added the poly to my project template. So poly is actually automatically installed, and it will greet the users already when it's added to the team. But let's keep this hanging and get back to the slides. So just an idea here that you can manage those templates like channels, apps, template name, descriptions. In Teams Admin Center, you have a UI there to do that. And if you have a custom provisioning solution, you can then extend those templates with Graph API. And if we jump onto the roadmap slide, this will get even better, because Get Template API is coming to Microsoft Graph, and Estimate is now on the roadmap that it will be there in April. So with this, you could actually fetch the template names and IDs from Teams Admin Center, which you're managing on your tenant, getting them back to your solution, utilize them in your Graph API calls using those IDs, which I actually demonstrated, and extending it, for example, adding channels, changing settings. So you can bring them, if you have been building some kind of a Teams provisioning flow with Graph, you can actually bring those templates in, those managed templates into your provisioning solution. Another thing from the roadmap is that you can have those customized website tabs, so you can actually enter the information, so it will be automatically configured for the user. So it won't be an instance, it will be actually live working website tab there. Okay, just a quick check. Okay, so now we can hear, this was the first call which I made from Graph API. And as you can see, all these channels are actually implemented. I made a Graph API call using that specific adoption template ID. And as you can see the calendar, it will take actually a couple of times opening the channel. I have the shared calendar in the channel. Project demo, you already see that I called it has installed Poly right away, but I don't see any channels, so it's still on the provisioning queue. So it will take probably 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, and now the channels appeared. You see those were the channels I have been adding to my template. And okay, so demo with coffee is still waiting. Let's jump to the wrap-up slide. So just after that one, before questions, we will closely check that the virtual coffee channel is there. So as a wrap-up, so kind of ideas that unify different types of teams you might have, for example, projects or managing services or R&D or whatever functions you have, unify those to templates and make the kind of a familiar structure to help your users to find information, because nowadays working with teams is just that you are at least in 5 teams and you are jumping between those teams during your workday. If you have well-planned teams, for example, for some function, promote those to team templates using the create a template from teams function, and you can then reuse the well-planned structure for your new teams. Remember that team settings can be managed with Powershell, so if you need to change those for your templates, you need to use Powershell at the moment. And if you want to bring those managed templates to your provisioning solution or just extend it with Graph API, that is possible. And use template policies to hide unnecessary templates from your users. So, and you can plan that also, that is this user group having all the templates we are having, and you can think about those things as well. Just a quick look on the demo side, and as we can see here, virtual coffee channel just appeared. So our provisioning solution extending our managed team template actually worked quite nicely. Okay, so that was my presentation. Any questions? Please open your mic and just ask questions, or you can type it in the chat as well.